Hello everybody, John12 back here again with another video. Today I give you another top 5, and I know I'm a little late to this because I'm recording this on a Tuesday, and usually my top 5s come out on Mondays pretty much. As you all know, I'm basically trying to come up with a schedule for my YouTube videos, but basically I'm pretty sure anyone who's stayed on and subscribed as long as any of you, you would pretty much guess that all my top 5s surround Mondays. I always put them out on Mondays, so it's the main reason is because I was busy and I was, just doing a whole bunch of things, and I was taking care of some kids, and it was just a big, mess, so I couldn't really record anything that I wanted to. So basically that's why I'm doing it today, and today I actually had a completely different top 5 to do. I really wasn't going to do change my mind about it, but then again, seeing as how Marvel Studios and the whole SpiderMan news has been killing it lately, I mean, if you compare it to anything else, it's like, who really gives, it's like Age of Ultron's like right around the corner, it's like, who gives a shit, they got Spider-Man, let's talk about this, so it's kind of hard not to talk about the Spider-Man thing, and for all of you who do not know what's been going on, basically, Sony and Marvel Studios are now working together to finally bring Spider-Man to the MCU and create a new, fresh look and hopefully story arc that's appropriate for the Spider-Man mythos. So basically that's why everybody's been going crazy. Spider-Man is part of the MCU, which is something that no one really thought was ever going to happen, especially me. But overall, it's been awesome, and as much as I really want to see what they do with Spider-Man, I'm trying to keep my anticipation at bay with it, because it's kind of like the Star Wars thing. I don't want to get too anticipated for it, because when you have such a high standard for something that could be a miss, it's just a really big downfall, Star Wars has that, because it's the first real big movie ever, and they're finally doing a sequel to the original trilogy, which is awesome and epic, and I don't want to, and it's the same thing with Spider-Man. Spider-Man, it should be, the gods of all comic book movies, but it hasn't, instead it's fuck Spider-Man, it's Guardians of the Galaxy, so it has that kind of, terrible vendetta against it, so I just want to sit down, relax, and just let Marvel Studios work their magic on Spider-Man, and hopefully he's introduced in Civil War, and when they make his solo movie, it's just the greatest Spider-Man movie since, the second Sam Raimi movie. That's all I'm hoping for, so. But pretty much today, I give you my top 5 Spider-Man moments. Kind of similar to my Green Arrow top 5, where I basically gave you my personal favorite and best and greatest, whichever you want to go with, moments in the comic book history of the character. And today I'm going to do the same with Spider-Man. Now, for this specific top 5, I'll only choose my personal favorite that I consider to be a milestone for the character itself, and of course the comic book run. And also, it's subjective, guys. It's always been subjective. If you don't agree with any of my choices, of course in the comment section below, let me know what is your personal top 5 Spider-Man moments in the comic book line. Anyways, let's get right down into it. I've been rambling far too long, and let's start up in number 5. Number 5 goes to the relationship trio, as I like to call it. Spider-Man as a character is a very cocky teenage kid, and he's Peter Parker. Let's just separate the two. Spider-Man and Peter Parker are two completely different identities, and Peter Parker was the biggest loser of all time. If you put a lineup of the greatest superheroes of all time before they became superheroes, Peter Parker is probably number 1 on that list of losers amongst losers, and then he becomes Spider-Man, and he has the hottest chicks in fucking comic book history. I think the only other comic book character who's, had a good, track record with women is probably, what, Cyclops from X-Men? But pretty much that's it. Spider-Man has, the best and hottest chicks / girlfriends in comic book history. You have Gwen Stacy, Mary Jane, Felicia Hardy, / Black Cat. He's just killing it. And those are actually my 3 possibly favorite comic book characters. And he's dated all of them. So, that's, I like to consider, even though it's kind of a, a very non-serious, moment in his comic book run, but overall, you have to look at it in, a realistic term. Peter Parker's a loser. He has nothing going for him except for his Spidey powers, and then he has the greatest and most hottest and most gifted fucking characters in his universe, or in general in the Marvel universe, that's kind of awesome. I'm just saying. So personally, I have to give it up to that type of thing, because that's kind of impressive. How you go from total loser to becoming New York's finest superhero and having like the hottest girlfriends. I don't know. You just have to appreciate the ability to do something like that. But that's just personally me. Moving on from that, going to number 4 on my list has to go to the reboots. Now, I'm not really big on characters taking up the mantle of specific characters that I really like. You know, I mean, like, they try to do it with pretty much every character. They did it with Batman, they did it with Superman, they did it with Captain America. You know, they try to do it all the time, where they try to, you know, kill off the main character and try to give a new character the mantle and try to see if that's successful. And usually it's never really that successful. I mean, like, it kind of worked for Captain America. It a little bit worked with Batman, a tiny bit here and there, depending on your personal preference. And it also definitely didn't work with Superman, so it's obviously very hard. But for Spider-Man, it worked perfectly. I mean, like, they rebooted him many times, and they've given various other characters the mantle of the Spider-Man persona. And my personal two favorite of the reboots of Spider-Man has to be Spider-Man 2099, and of course, the Ultimate Comics Spider-Man Miles Morales, which is possibly like the second most greatest Spider-Man ever. I mean, like, these two characters are fucking awesome, epic characters. And Marvel Comics fucking killed it with these two characters. I mean, like, I'm just saying, it's really hard to replace a very iconic character and give them a new, fresh take and be just as successful as the original. I mean, like, come on. I mean, like, if you ask anybody around the world who's a comic book fan, they love these characters possibly at the same length or even more than the original Spider-Man, Peter Parker. You know, people love Spider-Man 29. I mean, like, I fucking always get people talking about how Spider-Man 2099 is fucking the greatest badass shit ever. And then you have Miles Morales, who's possibly even more popular than Peter Parker. So it's definitely very interesting, and I personally really like those two characters. So they're on my 4th on the list. Anyways, moving off of that, going into number 3 on my list has to go to Spider-Man, of course, getting the black suit during Secret Wars. Of course, Secret Wars is an iconic badass moment in the Marvel Universe. And of course, the new revamped version of Spider-Man definitely broke down the doors of, like, different variations of Spider-Man. I mean, like, Spider-Man is just a badass character. He's awesome. But this is the point in time where he was more badass. He was fucking just darker. His suit was way more I mean, like, I prefer his black suit more than his original suit, and that's saying a lot. And personally, the great thing about this moment is not only because he became a part of this team, and he was a part of this great storyline, and he had this new revamped look, but because of this one moment, it created an entire great story arc that ran for the comic books for a very long time. I mean, like, you had the fucking Alien Symbiote story arc, and then you brought in Eddie Brock, and then you have this Venom thing, and then that goes into the Carnage thing, and it just continues to go on and on and on. And the fucking Spider-Man versus Venom thing is just very awesome. But you couldn't have that if it weren't for this specific moment in Secret Wars when Peter Parker became the black suit Spider-Man, which is fucking awesome. So personally, that's why it's number 3 on my list. Anyways, moving up for that, going to number 2 on my list has to go to the night Gwen Stacy died. Gwen Stacy, of course, once again, one of the hottest girlfriends in the Peter Parker legend, if you will, and of course, one of my personal favorite female characters in the comic book, in comic book industry, not only just for Spider-Man, but just in Marvel general, dies in the 2-part story arc in the Marvel comic books, in the Amazing Spider-Man run, where they created this 2-part story arc where Spider-Man was fighting against Green Goblin, and of course something terrible was going to happen at the end, and of course it was the death of his main girlfriend, Gwen Stacy. Now, they tried to do this multiple times in the media. You know, of course, they try to do it in the cartoons, they try to do it in the movies, most recently The Amazing Spider-Man 2, but nothing kills it as much as this fucking comic book. I mean, this comic book fucking kills it. It's so fucking well done. The Green Goblin is hands down my favorite Spider-Man villain, and it's just an amazing fucking moment. I mean, like, it just proves that even with, you know, the great abilities of Spider-Man, he can't save everybody, and he just couldn't save the person he loved. I mean, like, and also, it's just awesome in and of itself, because when you think of Amazing Spider-Man, and when you think of Spider-Man just in general, you think of, like, comic boys, fanboys, the golden child for comic books. I mean, like, he's fucking upbeat, he's lighthearted, he has all these great moments, even though sometimes he gets a little serious and dark, never at this point in time where he was as serious and dark, and it's just fucking amazing. I mean, like, the death of Gwen Stacy is a very iconic and dark moment for Spider-Man, and it just, nothing really tops it when it comes to great serious moments for Spider-Man. I mean, like, you can name a whole bunch. I'm pretty sure hardcore Spider-Man fans can come up with a way more appropriate, you know, serious dark moment, especially in today's run, maybe, but you can't beat the death of a serious supporting character like that. You know, Gwen Stacy is a serious supporting character. I mean, like, she's one of the most, you know, celebrated characters in the Spider-Man universe, and he killed her off so easily, and it's kind of like, and it's not only just Green Goblin's fault, but it's also like Spider-Man's fault in a sense, and then you have, like, this great moment where he's holding her, and he's just, you know, he has his fist in the air, and he's like, fuck you, Green Goblin, I'll fucking kill you one day, and he just vows to just kill his ass, and it's fucking, I don't know, excuse my language, but it's just a fucking amazing moment. You know, it's fucking Green Goblin versus Spider-Man, which is awesome, and then on top of that, you bring down the moment with an iconic, serious, dark death, and just an amazing vow to just eliminate someone as dark, as psychopathic as, you know, the Green Goblin. But overall, that's personally my favorite moment. Anyways, before I get to my number one moment, obviously I always do honorable mentions. I'm going to skip it this time because I don't want to ramble too long, and personally, it's just going to take forever just to be like, okay, well, this Spider-Man moment, that Spider-Man moment, so I'm just going to go right to my number one Spider-Man moment, mostly due to the fact that I don't want to be here all day and talk about Spider-Man as much as I could, so obviously, and also I don't want to ruin it for anybody else. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure everyone has their own specific, you know, Spider-Man moment, and I don't want to just, you know, put in the honorable mentions and get people pissed off and be like, oh no, that should have been number one, oh no, that should have been number two, or whatever. So in the comment section below, let me know what you personally think is the greatest moment in the comic book run of the Spider-Man mythos in the comment section below that I did not mention. So that's pretty much it. But anyways, moving on to number one moment, and that has to be the Amazing Fantasy introduction of the Spider-Man character itself. Now, first off, I know it's kind of cliche to name off the introduction of the character, but into the comic book run. But then again, it's not only a great moment in comic book history where this character was born into and joined the status that he's gone into. You know, I mean, like, Spider-Man's at that status of, like, Superman and Batman. Like, he's just legendary status. And, nothing beats this comic book. I mean, like, it's fucking awesome. It's a great introduction. And, on top of that, I think one of the greatest moments beyond that of, you know, his intro into the Marvel's universe, Marvel comic book universe, it's also the greatest tagline to any single moment in comic book. Is, I mean, no other comic book character or no other comic book run has simplified and stated the greatest, I guess, plaque, if you will, of what it means to be a superhero. And this is what it means, and of course, at the end of the original Spider-Man storyline, the final panel, of course, when Spider-Man's walking away and stuff after he defeats the foe. And it's, of course, with great power, there must also come great responsibility. And that's, of course, the greatest tagline to any superhero character, and it was introduced in this one comic book. And you cannot beat that moment where Marvel comic books and Marvel writers and Marvel creators like Stan Lee and Steve Ditko just fucking sit down and just write in the final panel of the fucking comic book and just simplified the greatest moment of, like, every single comic book character / superheroes, you know, mentality, which is basically, with great power, there must come great responsibility, because even with Superman's power, if he doesn't have the responsibility to what he has to save the people of Earth, specifically Metropolis, then he has nothing. Fuck his powers. And that goes strongly with Spider-Man's character, and it's been introduced in the movies and introduced in the cartoon everywhere. And it's just an iconic moment in his history, not only because it's the introduction of his character, but of course the introduction of a great tagline to any comic book character. I mean, like, you put that against anybody else, it just fits. But it was first introduced in this one character's introduction. But anyways, that has been my top 5 Spider-Man comic book moments. Now, of course, everyone has their own specific moment in the comic book run of this character where they're like, oh, that was the shit, that was awesome. But that's personally me. Number 5 has to be the girlfriends of Peter Parker, Gwen Stacy, Black Cat, Mary Jane. Number 4 has to go to the introduction of the reboot Spider-Mans, which is Spider-Man 2099 and Miles Morales. Number 3, obviously, is the introduction of the black suit Spider-Man in Secret Wars. And then number 2 is the night Gwen Stacy died. And of course, number 1 is the introduction of the character and this one tagline. With great power comes great responsibility. Fucking awesome. But anyways, in the comment section below, let me know what you personally think is the greatest moment in Spider-Man's comic book run. And of course, everyone has their own specific moment. And this list was subjective. So of course, it may and more than likely be differ from yours. So anyways, comment section below. Let me know what you personally think. And also, as a quick hint to what I'll be coming out with next week's top 5, seeing as how DC has this whole February's been Harley Quinn month, I thought for next week's top 5, I will be giving you a very Harley Quinn top 5. So be on the lookout for that. And let's just hope that Marvel Studios kills it with this new version of Spider-Man, which I'm pretty sure they're going to do. But of course, let's not get our hopes up because, of course, you know, there's a whole bunch of other shit that's going down. You have Civil War, Black Panther, Captain Marvel, Inhumans, Infinity War, so there's a lot of other things to look forward to. But Spider-Man, I'm pretty sure everyone's like, oh, that shit's going to be fucking killing. Pretty sure it is. But you know, you never know. Sony can just come out and just be like, oh, Marvel Studios, you're not going to do that. We're going to do this. It's like, you never know. Shit can go down. But anyways, I believe in Marvel Studios. So let's see what they come out with Spider-Man in 2017, 2016, 2017, whichever date they choose. And just let me know what you personally think in the comment section below on that front. And subscribe to my channel if you've not done so already. I hope everyone has enjoyed. This has been John 12.